Hi, I think you all think that you know me, but I'm hoping in this video just to tell you a little bit more about me. One day maybe I'll go into what happened in my family in my youth that has always made me the kind of person who doesn't keep quiet. In fact, so much so that at one Law Society meeting, council meeting, when I was still on the Law Society, during the tea break, I had an altercation with an attorney that I do not get on well with and didn't get on well with, even though I had to work with him many, many times on behalf of attorneys in this field. And I basically said to him in front of a number of people, and BLA and Nardell insisted that action was taken against me, that you're an absolute crook and you're going to end up in jail. And I said that directly to his face. Many, many, many months, if not years, before he left South Africa. And maybe that's a story I'll tell one day, because I think people should know a little bit more about me, because a lot of people subscribe to the legal newsletter and they have no idea how it started. And there was a newsletter for the Johannesburg Attorneys Association, which I was doing, and eventually I got to a point where I thought, well, I'm the only one doing it. Why on earth am I calling it the Johannesburg Attorneys Association newsletter? I became the chairperson of the Johannesburg Attorneys Association when I was 30. The Law Society made an exception for me and also put me on disciplinary panels at that time. I became the chairperson of the Gauteng Law Council at 35, and I spent 10 years on the Law Society before resigning when they failed to take action there and then on the evidence that they had before them on the particular individual that now lives in Australia. So that's why I resigned, and I was subject to non-stop attacks. Why did I get into marketing? Well, in some ways, it ties back to the same guy, because I went for a meeting with a good friend of mine at the time, Dion Goldschmidt, who years and years ago left and went to America. And Dion and I went along and said, let's see how we can help the profession work on these issues and get involved. Now, we went to the office in Rosebank of the main guy in this area, and I think you all know who I'm talking about at the time. And he kept us waiting for more than 1 hour and never saw either of us. Never saw us. Was consulting with doctors and all sorts of people, but didn't have time for two attorneys in his office. Dion gave up and he marched off. And on another occasion, I tried again, joined the Johannesburg Attorneys Association. And I think with hindsight, because he knew I was involved in road accident fund matters, he gave me another committee. So I had nothing to do with personal injury or road accident fund. He said, you're going to be in charge of legal education and marketing. And it became my job to do that for the Johannesburg Attorneys Association. Well, can I have the minutes of the previous meetings? Oh, don't worry about that. That subcommittee's basically never done anything. There's not going to be any minutes for you. And I started setting up lectures, which were the most successful in the history of the Johannesburg Attorneys Association. Mass numbers, mass amounts of money raised for them, all sorts of lectures, whether it was Judge William Heath, who came along and said, of course I'm not looking at touting. And in return for that, I got anonymous phone calls to my office saying, how can you let attorneys know that Judge Heath is not looking at touting? Because a lot of people were roped into being opposed to Judge Heath, who was really only looking at excessive fees. And might have put an end to a lot of what came out much earlier if he wasn't halted, and if the Constitutional Court never ruled against him and his unit. I don't like anything that I've seen that is dishonest in the profession, and there's unfortunately so much dishonesty in this field. So you'll see it coming out in my newsletters, and I might be scathing and people might not like it. They might not like what I write about touting. But how many people know that I sat on a subcommittee and I made proposals on touting to the Law Society, and my submission was approved either 6-0 or 6-1. And I mistakenly never kept the minutes of that meeting. And years later, nobody at the Law Society could find that. And guess what? I got removed from the committee. When I was nominated to the Law Society of South Africa's MVA committee for motor accidents, road accident fund claims by the Johannesburg Attorneys Association, suddenly a new rule was made. The Johannesburg Attorneys Association couldn't nominate people, and they couldn't accept nominations from there. Same person behind that as well, just blocking me. And so what a lot of people don't know is that I became so frustrated that I thought, why am I doing all of this to try and help the profession when I'm getting blocked at every corner? when I'm getting my direct payments court battle where we were better prepared and had better papers, just steamroll it by sample. And I get told, don't worry, just keep it in the wings. And then later, the same person who's told me to keep it in the wings says, I don't know why Michael Broglio wasted all that money on that. It was just dishonesty. And I didn't realize what a particular individual I was dealing with at that time. I think history has now revealed it. And, you know, I was sad that I had to leave the Law Society. I was sad, but at a certain time, you have to stand up for what is right. The right things happened, but they happened later than they should have. It was a disappointing story for me. It really was. Because I was somebody who was passionate about the profession and always have been. And you know what? I was wasting my time because I could have been marketing myself. But I was marketing all of you and I was helping all of you. And once I basically got blocked again and again and again, that's when I thought, let me start focusing on my business. So the guys that sat on the Law Society don't really know the Michael Broglio that was on the Johannesburg Attorneys Association or the Gauteng Law Council, because I basically got neutered and prevented from doing anything I could. They were never holding elections. It was a question of seniority. I was always going to be the most junior guy since they never held elections anymore. It became a huge problem. That's not to say I didn't like those guys. I didn't have some fantastic times with them in the 10 years I was there. They do a lot more work for the profession than people appreciate. But I believe in democracy. I believe in freedom of speech. And I understand people will snigger and attack anybody, especially in South Africa, if you try to stand up. You'll be pulled down. And just remember, when you're pulling those people down, sometimes it's the people that are helping you, that are in the same battle as you. So it doesn't help me, for example, when somebody who used to get this newsletter, I cut him off from it, would hire one staff member after another from me, hoping to find my secrets or something else like that. You know, if somebody's particularly effective, as I am, that's a person you need to hire. You don't necessarily need to hire the people that are working for them. And the disgruntled ones that are working for them are definitely not the ones you want. And generally, like any good businessman, I make sure my good staff are happy. And if there's one thing I'm good at, it's at managing and running a business. I probably have more business skills than I have legal skills. And my other secret, if somebody said to me, what is the secret to success? I have worked hard for 25 years and I've worked honestly. Advocates know that with me, you get paid and you get paid on time. You don't have to wait a year or something. So I'll get the best advocates on my clients' cases. The doctors likewise. Whether it's the brain surgeons, the neurosurgeons, whoever it is, I work with the best of the best because I make sure that I'm absolutely honest in my dealings with them. And it still amazes me that something that I would have thought is so basic, because that's how I was raised by my mother to be, is something that's now something like, wow, it's admirable. To be honest, why is it admirable? To be honest, it should just be basic. Follow the rules. Yes, my firm is expensive, but we follow the rules. We follow the rules. Is it so hard to be honest, work hard, and follow the rules? I don't think so. But anyway, that's my take on things.